Yo, yo, yo.
I was sure you were going to say hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. We
Welcome
are back. We're
Yeah.
consistent kings and queens.
Oh, yo. Royalty. Regal.
Look at us back with our third time in a row. Listen, guys, we are keeping this up. Want to chat?
Yeah, sure.
We've made a promise to the 10 of you who listen.
Consistency is key. We love the 10 of you guys.
Yes.
You're the best.
It's actually really nice.
It's actually about 87.
That's a lot.
Let's go.
I love that. I love a smaller community, although 87 people is not small. If you really think about it.
Not,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe what you can do also, if you like our episodes, is share it with a friend. You know, they have a long commute, or
Definitely push our podcast out there.
Yes, thank you so much.
That's what we're looking for.
Next week, we'd like to see double numbers. So thank you for listening.
We love when you guys comment too. It's really,
yes,
it's nice. It's just nice to have some interaction on the things you're doing.
Yeah, especially when it's like a smaller community again, like you get to actually see the comments, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't get flooded and you don't feel like you're not communicating with like people who really care, which is really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
We feel like we actually can do that. Mm-hmm. Yes. So how are you?
I'm good. This little hair is going wild.
Thankfully, I don't think you can see it.
Yeah.
If I bring my head down, which I will for you guys, look how much white hair.
That's wisdom. Right. That is all wisdom.
You know what it looks like? Yesterday I was thinking.
It looks like a crown.
It looks like somebody sprinkled like silver glitter on top of my head.
No.
That's called optimism.
Icing sugar. Sugar.
Yeah, like something spark. But because it's so silver, it looks glittery,
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
What do you guys think of my mustache? Tina loves it.
I love when he has a mustache. Like 97% of people don't.
I know.
That people we know.
Bunch of losers.
I love it. We just had a spa day together at one of our friends' spa places that just opened in Mississauga. Yeah. It was called Skin Tex, right?
Skin Centrics, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was Centrics.
Yeah, and it was really nice. And I saw this girl was there taking content of us, and I was looking through the content because I want to eventually make a reel very soon and for Instagram. And then I saw the video of you getting your like facial.
Oh yeah, they put stuff on my mustache too.
Yeah, and she's putting it on your mustache, and I thought it was so cute. And then there's other video like clips of James that he fell asleep. Apparently he was snoring.
Oh, I snored, yeah. Multiple times, like 2 or 3 times. Anytime I get comfortable, I can't help it. I pass out.
Yeah, that's just how you are.
Yeah.
You're like a little jujib in the sunlight.
Especially they put a heated blanket.
Yeah,
and
heated
it was like
blanket, heavy heated
weighted
blanket.
Too. I was done.
There was
no chance I was surviving.
It was hurting my feet, like how heavy it was on top of my feet.
Really? Oh, I had my feet out.
Yeah, and then I brought it up myself. Yeah, it was like so heavy, and like if my feet is like this, right? It was weighing it down like against the way it wants to be, because you don't point your fingers, when you lay down.
Yo, I need to get some water. Do you want to hold it down for a second?
Sure. No problem. Yes, our experience was really nice at the spa. And oh my God, they showed my scalp a before and after of like cleansing my scalp. I've never in my life felt so disgusting for the before shot of my scalp. And then I saw other people's video in the same spa. And there are people who use like really nice like shampoo products, and they're professional hairdressers themselves, and even their scalp was very shocking to them. But I think I was probably like their best candidate because my scalp is so dry naturally. My skin everywhere is very dry, so I keep it moisturized all the time, like my actual skin. But obviously you forget about your scalp, because it's like I also have so much hair, and I dye my hair because of my grays, and I get it bleached with Diana at DV Colors. She's honestly one of the best hair colorists I've ever seen in my life. I would say she's number one, and she's obviously known worldwide. and she should be like 10 times more popular than she is, 100 times. She's really great. I'll tell James to remember to put her contacts in the notes, but on Instagram, you can find her at DV Color, DV Salon. It's in Mississauga. It's really nice. Thank you. Also, you guys, these cups, a totally different topic. I got these after we came back from France. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
And at a restaurant, we had like this cup because it's like dented and weird, as you can see. And then I found it and ordered it on Amazon. They were expensive, but they're like really good quality. And they're just so cute.
They're good cups. They feel nice in the hand.
Mm-hmm. Like the grip of it is really nice.
That's everything when you're buying a cup. I'm just kidding.
How you hold it. So you don't break it.
Yeah.
Because you drop so much stuff.
I break the most dishes when I'm doing dishes.
Yeah.
I put way too much soap.
And you don't rinse it properly.
I rinse it, man.
No. There's soap. Like there's been so many times where, and I think it's a cultural thing because people here like just dip their plate in water in one sink. In one sink you put.
Bro, the tap is running the whole time.
No. Well, yeah, because you learned from me.
Well, I did learn from you. I had to change the way I do dishes.
Yeah, like Persians, we scrub it.
Zon.
Bouillon. It's like that fishy scent on
to me, that signifies
plates and cups that James doesn't smell. My other friend who was like raised here doesn't either, and she's Persian.
It signifies clean dishes.
Yeah, you're like, this smells clean. We're like, in bouillon me there.
Yeah.
Like it smells like zon, which is that fishy scent.
Sometimes you can't even eat at places.
Yeah, and I asked them to like switch out my cup, like when we go out for breakfast, which we should do that after this.
Yeah, and you get one that comes back even worse.
Yeah, because they wash it with hot water, and there's eggs for breakfast food. So anyway.
I think dishwashing machines actually just do that in general.
Yeah, makes sense. It's very steamy and hot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's funny. So today, let's get into it. I'm so excited. Yeah. As you can see from the title of this video or podcast title, we're talking about Love is Blind, Habibti or Habibi. Habibi is for man. Habibti is for woman. I love Habibti. It's so cute. Yeah, it is. I wish I could say that for everybody. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you one thing just from the start. I watched the first 20 minutes. I stopped. I was like, nope, can't do it.
Why? What was it?
In the first 20 minutes, there's this guy.
The guys were the worst in that show.
Yes, they're the worst.
Say it.
The girls really held it down for me. I mean, obviously I can be biased because I'm a girl myself, like women and men. But truthfully, if you had watched it and you didn't know me or we weren't together, would you have felt the same? Be honest.
I probably would have been angrier because of the whole cultural difference. I've experienced some Middle Eastern culture and customs and things that are acceptable and within your culture, within Middle Eastern culture. And I know they vary. I think now that I know you, I have a way more open mind. And
wow, I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say maybe I wouldn't have noticed all the like kind of traits that the men have that are very Middle Eastern, I would say.
Yeah. But here's the thing too. Also, because I know you, I've also like, I feel like women mature men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
relationships in general, mature people and women definitely do. I think tend to do that for men.
And I think if you're in a relationship or depending what age you are as a male, I'm not going to say it like all males are. I feel like
majority.
Yeah, I would say the vast majority. If I were to watch that when I was younger, I don't think I would have grasped as much.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have had an open mind. That's for sure. And yeah, I think it's different with
But
because
then
I know
also
you
knowing
now.
my culture,
Yeah.
now you're
And
even
being a
more
Baha'i
open.
too,
Yeah, and being
right?
a Baha'i, you're more open-minded. So in the Baha'i religion, equality between men and women is very important. It's referred to as we are one bird with two wings. So if one wing is like not working, then it's not equal, that you can't fly, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole like symbolism behind it. But so it's really from growing up in a country in Iran, in the Middle East, where women are not really treated equally at all, they're oppressed. I felt always so lucky. I was born into my family, in specifically my family, but also with my religious belief and cultural, traditions, that I was born in a family where it was looked at, like women and men were looked at differently.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's like things that were different for girls. Like I couldn't have gone out, even now here in Canada. I don't go out at night by myself to put myself in danger. Like I don't mean
Yeah.
things that are like, oh, women and men are equal, so I'm gonna get out and go to a dark like street, and because I believe that nothing should happen to me. Unfortunately, that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
In the world. That's not what I mean. I mean in terms of like how we're looked at as parents, let's say. In like we look at dad's responsibility as a dad in an emotional state of a child is the same as the mom's, is as important. And a lot of people maybe in the olden ways think that, it's just the mom's job to really bring up the kids, like these sort of things, right?
Yeah, I'm a little more traditional. Oh, well, it was like that in Western culture too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, definitely.
I mean, going back to
That's
you were
what I
saying,
mean, old times, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Going back to what you're saying about like women being safe. When I was watching this show, that came up in my mind. I was thinking, okay, all this aside,
Yeah.
like when it comes to equality and what, as like I'm speaking on behalf of males as a male, what we've created, I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm not even going to blame myself because I don't think I've done that, but I'm part of this world.
Yes.
The fact that a woman has to fear going out at night because of some kind of danger is just unacceptable.
I know.
It just shouldn't exist. Or if it did exist, it should be as equal for the man as the woman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I think.
Yeah, for sure.
That,
that's not the case.
That bothers me. That's so frustrating. I'm just like,
yeah, especially James is a very much like into these like army training, you know what I mean? Safety, combat, like defense, like, all these defending yourself.
Awareness.
Yeah, situational awareness, that it bothers him a lot. And I just saw a video sidetrack of this girl who's a runner. She loves running. And she was talking about how since it's winter and like the time difference that's been killing all of us, the time that went back and the nights are so long now. She said by the time she gets home, it's already dark and she can't go for her run, right?
Yeah.
Then she was like, oh, I'm just going to try it. And she went for a run. She came right back. She was obviously creating this content too, to like give people awareness. And then she like was scared and she's like, I don't feel safe. Like there's no one on the street. By the time I get to the city center, it's like, I can't, I'll feel uncomfortable. So then she put it out on her Instagram and she's like, at this time, I want to go running if any other women want to join me. And then hundreds of women joined her and they all ran together and felt safe.
Yeah, that's
like, it was such an amazing and emotional thing to watch, but at the same time, so sad that like, as a woman, anyway, that's not the point. My point is, I couldn't watch after the first 20 minutes because the guy that I really don't like, should I say his name? I feel bad because he's a human being too, but truly he didn't represent himself properly. Or anyway, he saw this girl for the first time in the pods and he came back and told everybody that no one can talk to her. So she is his.
Just in case you guys don't watch Love is Blind, basically it's there's these pods and there's a wall in between them and they can't see each other. They can only hear each other.
Yeah.
And then they go in there and they have these dates and they just basically converse.
It's supposed to be from not physical attraction, but your minds and soul,
intellectual and
yeah,
emotional
and it
connections.
works. It's worked for a lot of people. It hasn't worked for a lot of people. It's an American show, but now it's everywhere. And we've watched American. I've watched Brazil first season.
There's Sweden too.
Sweden, UK. Japan, Mexico, UK, Argentina, and now, I guess it's not Dubai. I don't know where it was, but you know, in the Middle East ish. Yes, for people for Arabs, people who speak Arabic, I would say, but they were from Lebanon, Morocco, you know, different parts.
Yeah, like Middle Eastern.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But also Africa too.
Yeah.
So
go back to that guy.
Yeah, so he came back and said no one is allowed to talk to her. She's like my wife.
Which defeats the whole purpose. And
it robs her of like meeting other people. She came to the show to talk to multiple guys just like he did.
Yeah.
So she can choose, but she didn't. Like everybody listened, oh brother, yes, of course, blah, blah, blah. We watched it dubbed, so it was horrible. Because watching something dubbed, it just takes away from the experience. I think if we had done the subtitles, it's just too much work for Love is Blind because they're talking so fast and over each other that it was difficult to do subtitles. And
it was pretty close though, because the reactions and everything lined up with what they were saying. So
for sure, the translation is fine. It's just it doesn't sound right, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad, and and I switched it off, and then I was talking to my two good friends, and they had already watched it, and they're like, "Yeah, we told you it was gonna be a rough watch, you know." But then my cousin was like, I think you should watch it because the girls hold their own. Mm-hmm. As soon as she said that, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch and see what happens. And then I talked to one of my friends who's also from the Middle East, but was born and raised here. And she told me, you know, I understand that was unfair of him to do, that specific guy. But there was another thing about him that really there was a lot of things. I was upset with all the guys. I think that they were all not cool at all.
That thing that was triggering for me was when they called themselves men, like as this, like they were acting like a man. Mm-hmm. It's not how, in my opinion, that's not how a man should act.
Right.
Period. It doesn't matter how much you can yell or how you can be physical. That doesn't make you a man.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
And I can say that from
being a man
and saying I was a man and experiencing that and growing past that and still trying to evolve into that more.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. And everybody can actually experience that in different ways. But these guys just seemed very arrogant, super like, my word goes. And if you guys haven't watched it, well, this will spoil a lot of things. So maybe you can opt out, watch it, and then come back and listen to our opinion. Yeah. But basically, it just seemed very arrogant and like, my word goes because I'm the man. This is our tradition and our culture. You need to listen to me. Why are you saying no to me? Why do you think you can say that your work is more important? You know, things like that. It was just like, what era do we live in?
There's a lot of one side. It was very...
double standards.
Yeah, it was hard. It was
a tough watch.
Very tough. It was the most childish and immature on both sides, women and men. Because for the women, listen, this is important because I don't want to feel like I'm bashing the males in the show, even though they deserve it. I'm just going to say that. Screw those guys, man.
Well, how were the women immature?
Women were immature in their initial interactions with them because they allowed it to get to a point.
Allowed what?
Like, they allowed their relationship to evolve and get to a point where they would either go their separate ways or continue off of just the dumbest things being said. Like, there was no conversations
from what we saw.
But it still showed it. I feel like even though what we saw, how much more could there be? I mean, most seasons of this show, they spend at least half that season in the pods. I think they spent 2 episodes maybe conversing with these people. And all they talked about is, you're my love, you're my rock, you're
your
this, you're
eyes
that.
are like
you're
the
like
whisper
this.
of your voice.
I'm going to give you the world. I don't care what you do.
There was
love will conquer it. We will do this. And the women are like, and they'll ask a challenging question. The guy will give some BS answer. And then they're like,
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're like, I didn't like that. But that happens in relationships even now, where you kind of ignore.
And you do. 100%. I think they do. When people get smitten. But this whole concept of how can you get smitten by not seeing them, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen that in the Western Love is Blind, where it happens, but it's based off of, I would say most times it was based off of when they found out what the person looked like.
Sometimes, or their money, or
that's
if they
when
had
they
money.
threw things out, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's both they're bad, because when I was watching it, I was like, I can't believe, because we're in Western culture, we date, we have girlfriends and little crushes when we're young, and it was like watching something in like junior high.
Right.
I couldn't believe, I was like, how? And this is what you start your marriage on?
Yeah.
That was crazy to me. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It was very surface level. A lot of other seasons of Love is Blind in different parts of the world were also surface level. We're not just saying this one, but
this was consistent across the board. We're talking like certain people and other ones.
Yes. And the one guy that I didn't like, 3 of the guys the most, and the one guy that I already talked about, he also didn't. He said, the girl he was talking to said that she likes to dance, like perform different types of dance and acting and like plays and theater is like part of her life, right? She does business and theater as like her major.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that.
But he did say he's willing to work on it. Nothing's going to be an issue.
It's like love
that we can't work through.
Yeah, we can work through it. Their nickname for each other. He called her Cookie. It's just cringe, And like, okay, whatever. They're smitten. It's cool. I don't know with what. Because this guy was like, all of a sudden when she said that, he was like, I don't like that.
A wall.
And I hated that he didn't like that. And then when I talked to my friend who was born and raised here, and it's, she was kind of trying to explain to me, she said, well, I understand him. It's his preference for his personal life.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, that's true. We can't just, it's his life. He can choose what kind of wife he wants and what she can and can't do for his preference. Totally okay.
But he asked her to marry her.
Yeah. Knowing that. Yeah, because he thought, and she said yes, because like to the engagement, he thought that she's gonna say yes to him and change, because he's so arrogant.
And
he said it himself. He's like, this is how I was raised in the reunion. He's like, this is my culture. This is the society.
On
in the honeymoon. Yeah. He said, this is just how it is. And then he got mad that she was saying, well, no, there needs to be a discussion about this. I like dancing. It's a part of my life. Like, I like to perform. And her dancing is very like folk, and you know what I mean?
It's like a lyrical style of dance.
It's like it tells a story. Yeah. So it's not like stripping or obviously or belly dancing.
By no means was it promiscuous.
No, not at all. And even let's say if it was, it's her life. They can choose each other if they want to, right?
He said it was impossible.
He said there's no other way. It's impossible for us to go forward. This is after their honeymoon. After their honeymoon, they decided to talk about this stuff, Like, how did it not come up during all those lovey-dovey dates where you were calling each other Cookie and my love, your eyes, my breath? Like, come on.
Yeah. I don't like that the females accepted that.
Yeah, it's almost like they were just kind of going with the flow to see what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But and that's fine. It's a show.
I also feel like that happens a lot.
100% in relationships everywhere in the world.
Yeah. I was so confused when I was watching it. I'm sitting here, I'm like, here's these guys. The thing that like baffled me the most was that everybody was super honest about everything.
Yeah.
And they still chose each other.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. It makes no sense.
There was a lot of double standards.
You won't work with me. I'm not going to work with you. Will you marry me? Yes.
Yes.
Afterwards, this isn't going to work.
You can't say that to me.
Obviously.
That guy was pissed that she was saying there should be a discussion about it. I showed you that part because you weren't watching those episodes.
I couldn't. I got so tired. I'm just, makes no sense.
He was like, I'm so mad. I cannot believe that she even thinks she has the right to talk to me and say no to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
What? Like, no. There was another guy who would tell his girl, you're very like friendly when you talk to other people. I don't like that. And then he's like literally flirting with the other girl that he said no to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The like cutesy one who would get dressed up and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he talked so much shit about her in the reunion. Everyone attacked that one girl and no one said anything just because she has a standard for herself, which can come across as being a gold digger. I think you can only be a gold digger if you don't have money and you go after money. It seemed like she was well off. So I don't know how you can be a gold digger when you have money yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't get it. And
I hated that.
The way
the host,
the little child team up, and the thing that boiled my blood the most was the host.
Oh,
the male host was sitting there silent while these guys blatantly disrespect women and his wife. And he sits there and they're talking about being men. And they're talking about being head of the household and all this stuff. And this is what a woman should do.
My gosh.
And he's sitting there. This guy is silent. This guy is the authority on the show. Yeah. And he didn't say anything. I was like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
You fucking loser, man.
And
that pissed me off
girl
so much.
finally stepped in and said, I'm not going to allow this. You guys are disrespecting each other.
She stood up.
She stood up for both the man and the woman because they were really going at each other.
Her husband said silent.
Nothing. Yeah, he said nothing. He just sat there.
That to me was like mind-blowing. And okay, when I generalize things about this show, we're not talking about one person from one country or a same group of people from different countries. No, all these guys are from different backgrounds, different walks, and they all share commonality.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a pretty vast average for a show to base these opinions on. I'm not saying we're valid. These are our opinions.
Yeah.
But this was some bullshit.
From an outsider watching, it was like mind-blowing. And I was raised in Iran, so I saw this around all the time. And hence the reason why, as a family, we left. All my family, uncles, aunts, everybody is gone.
But the problem
because we couldn't live like that.
The problem is that, in what I see, I'm not going to state the fact, like, that this is like, sexist. I'm going to change the world. No, the problem, a big problem is that there's a 50-50%. The women allow this. They allow this to happen. In the show was kind of like the first time that I saw them stand up and say what was on their mind. And it wasn't
some of them
even,
did.
it wasn't even enough.
No.
It wasn't even close to enough of what needed to be said.
Yeah.
And so this behavior is just consistently being allowed.
That wasn't all of them. Like the girl who dancing, the best moment of this show it was the best moment of any show for me. Like how proud I was of that girl. So respectfully going to that guy who said you cannot dance, there's no possibility for you to do that. She went to him and she said, I'm going to choose my life and choose my freedom and my peace, and that's dancing, theater, whatever it is that she wants to do. Because he said under my reign, basically,
no
is a no, right? And I'm the head of the house.
And it's unacceptable by Arabic culture.
Yes, he said, by my culture, this is unacceptable.
No, he said Arabic culture.
Arabic culture. That's true. And he said, no one will marry you, because she respectfully declined him. Like she said, no, I'm not going to marry you.
I choose my freedom.
I choose myself and my freedom. And I was standing up, clapping how proud I was of that girl. And she told him and then he said, so you're going to choose dance over love? She's like, I'm choosing my freedom. My peace,
and myself,
and my art, which is my life, right? And he said, no one will marry you. That's what he said to her. And she's like, that's fine, you can think like that, but don't generalize, because not every guy is like you. And he said, even in the reunion, all the guys were like, yeah, all of us are like that. No one will marry a girl who dances. Okay, that's fine. And if that's the truth, which is not, because that girl was saying, I have brothers and a father.
She said, I am this way because my brothers and my fathers showed me that this is acceptable.
Yes.
And that was like, for me, that gave me hope.
Yes. Same.
Because there's some men, I will call them men.
Yes, 100%. Of course there is. This is a big world. Not everyone's the same. Yeah. If majority of people are acting a fool, doesn't mean everyone is like that from a certain culture. And that's what's sad about our culture here, is we generalize and stereotype because we see it so much.
Yeah.
We do that. I'll say it myself. Maybe I think sometimes, well, that's just how men from my country are.
And we do
I even talk about my own country,
We do it more so with Western culture because it hasn't even been a full generation that we've been truly exposed to.
Yeah. The other parts of the world.
Middle East
especially.
East Asia, Asian culture.
Yeah.
Fully with actual facts of how their culture is, that they're not, everybody doesn't live in mud huts. And are terrorists and tents or refugee
and have camels,
camps.
For transportation.
So we have less of an open mind when it comes to these things, especially if we see that
a lot. Yeah. And if that's I was telling James, I'm like, that show, if people are watching it here a lot and if it gets like a buzz, which I don't think it did. I don't think it's as big as like UK and US.
It won't, because it's not English.
It's not English. And also, I think people will look at it and be like, this is just way too old school. Like,
no, you know what they'll say?
There's no
drama.
What
they'll say, oh, that's just the way it is over there.
Yeah, that's just the way it is over there, and blah, blah, blah.
Sucks to be them.
Yeah, which maybe majority of time it is, but as the girl was speaking, she said, no, my brothers and my dad are not like that. The other girl said the same thing, because they were saying, you guys will never find a man. Like, all these men in the reunion were just going off on these girls who were standing up for themselves and being independent.
Over stupid things that they do themselves.
Yes.
Over everything they do themselves.
So the girl in the reunion came out and said, okay, I respect that you don't want your future wife to dance and perform. That's totally fine. But why was it that on the show, there were 10,000 shots of you shirtless, rubbing your muscles in front of the camera?
Yeah.
She's like, what kind of double standards is that?
You looked great.
And you looked amazing. And he smiled. He was so happy.
That's the only thing he took from
That's all he heard. So funny. Oh, man.
It's okay, buddy. We're not fighting. We're just worked up. Our cat.
He doesn't like when we passionately talk about something. Yeah. He doesn't like loud noises.
Loud noises.
He thinks
even when we have people over, he goes and hides.
Yeah.
Sorry,
poor guy.
Buddy. It's all good.
It's okay, Mama.
We're almost done.
Yeah. Mommy. You come here and show everybody.
This is a real man.
He's the truest. Mama, I love you. Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah, this show was...
it was definitely...
Tough watch.
A tough watch. But at the same time, it had scenes where, you're proud of people for standing up for themselves. Another scene that really pissed me off was with this guy who was like, super, I know exactly what I want and blah, blah, blah. And he picked this girl and they got together. It's the girl who made a comment like joking and saying, oh, I can't wait for my bachelorette party. That's the last, I'm going to try different cakes at my, like with men or something.
Yeah.
She said something like that and he was furious. Like he got so pissed. Like I would think if she was in front of him, I don't know what would happen, because that's the guy who got into a physical altercation with another guy. And this is the first time in Love is Blind history when guys get into a fight and they were physical with each other. And like, again, don't represent the Middle East like this.
It was so dumb.
It was just, I mean, again, that's all I've seen ever growing up. Like even, let's say in an Iranian concert, there's always fights between guys. Always. Because either the guy is looking at his girl and they get mad at that and they fight each other. It's something that has to do with jealousy, as they call it. Even the best couple who I liked the most out of all of them, at the reunion, they talked about how he was jealous and they were having some issues. And I was like,
she said there's a fine line. She said, I like jealousy, but
yeah,
there's a fine line between jealousy and control.
Which to me, if you like jealousy,
yeah.
I don't know if that's a good sign. If you want your partner to be jealous, there's something lacking in you for attention.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't want jealousy. Trust me. In a healthy relationship, you do not want jealousy. You want reassurance to an extent where if something happens, you can tell yourself, I trusted this person because they showed me a great side of themselves, and they reassured me with their actions and words that I don't need to be, worried. And if it does happen even after that, it's definitely, then it's not on you to say, oh, although you may think that, oh, I was so naive, or why didn't I think that and trust this person so much?
Yeah.
At the end of it, at least you can tell yourself, I was the good person in this, and it's okay if this person is going to kind of betray my trust in that way.
Yeah, but don't use that as a motive to do anything.
No, of course not. If it naturally comes to you to be like that, then that's good. It's my opinion. I'm never saying that I'm right. It's just I think if you have jealousy in the relationship, it's not good. Even a little bit of it it's just not nice. It's not a nice feeling. That's why jealousy doesn't have a positive connotation to it ever.
It's unpredictable.
Yeah, it's unpredictable, and it keeps, like, people who like to be kept on their toes, like, you've never then, maybe you've never experienced content and peace in a relationship where,
maybe,
because that's the best. That's the serotonin you need, not the dopamine of high and low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not fun. You might think that that's passion. It's truly not. When you are at peace and you're happy and you're content in your relationship and you don't feel these feelings, that's what I think everybody would want. And I think that's why that girl said no, because she would never be able to have that with that guy. She chose her peace, and they made fun of her at the guys. And this is the funny part. The guys who pretend to be so manly and talk crap about women. Oh, women like to gossip and talk about blah, blah, blah. Okay. At their bachelorette hammam or spa day, they were talking about her, saying, yo, she chose dance over love. Ha 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 ha.
Doing the same thing they were doing.
The girls didn't talk about these things.
Not to mention they're raised by women.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
All of us are.
I don't understand when there's this disconnect between guys who talk about women in a misogynistic way.
Yeah. Generalizing them.
Yeah. That they're all like this when they're
doing this.
Most cases are raised by a woman.
Right.
And love that woman who raised them.
Yeah. So much.
But that doesn't apply to them. But she's a woman. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think that in general, the hypocrisy.
Yeah, the double standard.
There can't be double standards in a relationship. It doesn't work.
No.
I feel like that's a very toxic dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's more control. It's like treating someone like a slave.
Right.
In a relationship, if you are allowed to do something and they can't, it's not fair. You need to compromise on one end.
Yeah.
Either or, woman or man, you need to compromise on the things you don't want them to do. Then you got to accept that you can't do that yourself, because that's not going to work, right?
Like this guy who's telling her he wants his wife to only do this, don't talk to other men, don't flirt. What he did, there was a girl who had something on her dress, and her girlfriend was like, hey, turn around, let me clean your dress at the back where her bum is. And then the guy who's so good, this other guy, was like, turn around to the other girl, looks at her butt area, and he's like, yeah, you're good, it's clean. And his girlfriend was like, the girl got awkward and obviously uncomfortable. Yeah, you don't want a guy looking at, like, that's weird. It's weird for any culture. You don't feel comfortable like that, especially when their fiance is right there, or that they have a fiance.
Yeah.
So she left because she was uncomfortable. And the girl was like, yo, that was weird. Why did you do that? You know? She's like, you need to apologize to me. That made me uncomfortable. It made her uncomfortable. Why would you say something? He's like, I would never apologize for that because it had nothing behind it.
Yeah, but they assume they assume the women have everything malicious or perverted behind it. The same
guy was talking to his boy, and his guy friend was like, yo, I know that girl from Instagram. Seconds later, he went to his fiance and told her, like what women do, which is gossip and go talk behind. And then they got into a fight and they started like physically going at each other.
And then they forgave each other. It's all good. We're brothers for life.
We're brothers for life. But
the woman's still accountable for what happened.
That girl is a hoe. Yeah.
Because she was involved in the conversation. Because it was about her. That's it.
Yeah. No. Because she didn't stand up and be like to take his side. She just sat there. She's like, why would I? And he left because of this.
Yeah. No, I'm saying the baseline of it is that it was just about her.
Yeah.
That's it.
It wasn't about her. It was about another couple. He messaged
her, right?
No, that girl wasn't a part of the relationship. James didn't watch the whole thing. The girlfriend wasn't even a part of it. And the guy was like, why didn't you side with me? She said, you guys were physically fighting. You want me to stand up and come in the middle of it? It's not my place to do that. He's like, you could have done that in a different way and stood by my side. And the guy who he was fighting with said, if my fiance didn't stand with me, I would have left her too. And that girl said, you can cheat on me and I might be able to forgive you in the pods, okay? She told that same guy before they got engaged. But if you leave me without an explanation, that's what's really gonna break me. That's exactly what he did. That little boy took what she said and used it against her. And he just left and never explained it to her. And the producers were like, yeah, he left you. She's like, and they played that scene showing what kind of a man he is, what kind of a human, I just want to say.
Yeah, I really need to stop talking about the show. I'm done. I'm like getting so annoyed and irritated and mad.
It's tough.
I'm so sick of hearing the dumb shit that these guys did and the dumb stuff that happened, the women accepting this, allowing things to go so far, men just not even listening to simple requests.
Yeah, of a woman wanting respect or an apology because you were looking at another girl's butt, whether there's anything behind it or not. What if she did that?
Yeah.
What if she did that with another man?
Exactly. It's just so simple.
Pissed that their girls. Yeah, they were pissed that their girls would talk to other guys from the same group.
Or they can talk to girls. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and check out their butts and laugh. And the girl made a comment saying, your accent is so cute. And he went to his fiance and was like, she said, I'm so cute. I talk so cute. And she was like, ha. And then they started fighting. That's what I hated the most, that those two girls fought not over him, but about that guy.
Yeah.
The guy who literally is a little boy who didn't even clean his apartment or offer his fiance a drink of water when she came over to his house. And they said no to each other because they thought they needed more time to get to know each other than get married. And they're still together.
She's a sellout.
She is like the most, she is. And I think one day she'll realize that. Maybe she already has because a year has gone by.
They already do. Everybody does. There's no way you follow somebody or you fall in love. It's all image. It's all for... I'm sorry, but it's all for the cultural look. It's for your families.
We can't say we met like this. We can't say we met like this because it's not good for our culture.
That's not true love. That's not a true...
No, even if it is true love, it's just you're not really being authentic. And there's only one person I could truly, maybe a couple of the girls who stayed true to themselves, maybe 3. And those girls really, chef's kiss.
This show was the most backwards thing I have ever watched.
And season 2 is coming in February. So get ready for more shenanigans. I don't
know if I can.
This is how maybe we can finish this episode. I really hope that they pick people who are a little bit more open-minded and I don't know what to call it, really.
You would gain more from watching toddlers interact
for sure.
than these adults interact.
Yeah.
You would gain more understanding and more respect for humanity watching two kids interact and argue. You would see more results and resolution over children arguing than these adults. It was ridiculous.
And remember the guy at the end is like, I just wanted to apologize to her.
Fuck you, man.
James was so mad.
I was like, what the fuck?
Because we all knew why he did that. It was for a TV show. The DJ guy was nice.
That guy was a little bitch. Please send me a message. Would love to have a simple conversation with you, man.
Yeah, it was like the girl wasn't treating him like a king because I don't think she was attracted to him.
He's not a king. He didn't act like a king.
But that's how they want to be treated.
Sounded like an idiot.
Yeah.
They all sounded like idiots. None of them deserved to be treated with respect because they didn't deliver respect.
Yeah, and the main couple who were my favorite.
It, man. The women allow it.
Babe, the main couple that I liked, right? She told him, I'm a flight attendant. I'm not home a lot of times. He's like, I support your work. I don't mind. I understand. They got engaged and she's like, hey, I have to work like 2 days after we get married.
So then I'm going to be single?
He's like, I have a single life after I'm married. Like, you're going to be gone. I'm going to be by myself for our honeymoon. She's like, no, we can plan it differently.
Stop, man.
So he wasn't supportive. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough to watch as people who like to, I think, keep an open mind in regards to not treating men and women so differently and having such separate roles in life. Because maybe there are people who watch that and it's totally normal for them. Not for us as a couple, because we like to even take things that have happened in our relationship. I think I can say that and at least learn from it and grow and have an open mind. And you know what I mean? Even from the worst things that have happened in our relationship, we like to at least be like, okay, what the hell was that? You know?
Who wants to be unhappy with the person that they're going to see every day? That's, these are things, and that requires a lot of work.
It's a power dynamic when it comes to, I'll say my opinion, when it comes to men and women in a lot of cultures. When men feel like they're superior.
All cultures,
Yeah. In not just Middle Eastern culture. No, it's everywhere. It's just that hopefully maybe what we can do, if you have kids or if you're a young couple who want to have kids, maybe let's teach our kids about equality, true equality. What's equal in the eyes of that higher power, God or whoever you believe in. If we can actually teach our kids that instead of, Can
I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wish I didn't get offended when my manhood was challenged or insulted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the same boat as every other
human.
guy.
Yeah.
Where it comes down to that simple need to be a man. If someone says, you're not a man or you're a bitch.
Or you're not acting like.
It's off. It just gets set off.
And it's hurtful.
I think it's everywhere, right?
It is.
And that's
even with someone.
What is that? Why?
Even
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we have emotions, we have feelings. The way we were raised, it's like.
But it strikes a nerve, like it like in the DNA.
Yeah, for men, it really does.
You're talking about my DNA, what?
It's like maybe I don't know if it's like that for different groups of genders. Like, I wonder if it's like that for people who are non-binary. Does it affect them? Probably not. You're not a man. You're not a girl. They're like, okay, no problem.
But a lot of times it affects them. But it has, because it has affected, because they've had to fight for rights. And those rights have been offended. And once you cross those lines that they've now achieved.
It's like
it becomes offensive,
yeah, it's
right?
like they tell them, like, you're not a real girl. You're a boy who wants to be a girl. They're like, yeah, I am.
Who cares?
So what? I know.
It affects.
That's a totally different thing, because James and I, we could not care less. Like, if you want to choose who you want to be it. We love you.
How personal people take it.
We love you no matter what. Yeah. It's pretty easy, I think, to be maybe kind and loving, but triggers people in different ways. And I'm sure there's so much psychology behind it, where you just said, why was I like that? I wish I hadn't. We all do it. I'm sure in different ways. I get offended for my, like to an extent where I'm like, why do women have to do this? And, it's just the world we live in has a lot of ups and downs and different, it's not just 1D. It's not even 3D. It's multifaceted. So.
Yeah. For me, like, just to kind of wrap this up, I think the one takeaway from this show was
Sucks.
I just couldn't, it sucked. I couldn't believe that the world and the culture and the relationship maturity was as lower.
Because a lot of them were older too.
Than I had expected it to be based on stereotypes.
Yeah.
It was lower than that. And I couldn't believe that.
Yeah. And I hope they pick better people. Obviously this was drama.
I hope it keeps going this way. And I do. No, because if this is how it is, it needs to be out there. Maybe and it needs to change, and it needs to be exposed, and it needs to be brought to light, because that is unacceptable. What happened? We lost our light.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that's okay. But I think the people who are coming on this show are the ones who obviously have trouble finding people. So I don't think we're going to get those open-minded guys and girls are easy for them to find each other, Just
listen to our podcast and you'll...
Yes, we will guide you.
Use it as notes.
We love you guys. Let us know what you think if you watched it. If you haven't, go watch it and let us know what you think, because we got mad. And, that maybe says something about our triggers.
And maybe we're open to being educated on
certain things.
That process that you guys have.
Yeah. Let us know why
relationship or
you think double standards is cool.
If you believe in that. I want to know.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll make sense. And then I'll have double standards, sucker.
Why is it that you can do something and then the other gender can't?
Yeah, explain
or
that.
Shouldn't. Yeah. We would love to. No, we love you guys no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's all have that kind of mentality for each other. Like, even though I don't agree with those guys.
You can love us, but we don't have to love you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Double standard right there.
Welcome to our TED Talk. We hope you learned something.
Yeah.
No, but I was just going to say, even though I really dislike those guys, I would never, wish something bad upon them. Obviously, if they were in need of help, 1,000% I would help them. 1,000%. And that's how, I was raised. So that's how we should be, I think, for each other. Even if we disagree, we should be able to live in harmony.
Yeah.
Because there's always somebody you can find that would agree with your mindset. And so good luck. Godspeed.
Godspeed. All right, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.